Hello, good morning. Okay. Hey guys, and welcome back to my study space. My name is Avery, and today we're going to talk about everything you need to know to get into college, brought to you by Southern Methodist University. For those of you who are new here, I am a first-generation college student and law student. So whenever I was going through the college application process around my junior or senior year of high school, I was number one, very intimidated by the whole thing. Okay, number two, confused by all the information that was out there. And finally, number three, I was stressed because I wanted to do very well in applying for college, obviously, and to get as many scholarships as I could. But I didn't have a starting point because neither of my parents went to college. Fortunately, today, I am teaming up with SMU, my school for undergrad, as well as my current law school, to bring to you a video that makes everything easier to understand and more accessible. We are specifically going to talk about the materials that you need when applying for college. Before we waste any more time, here are the 4 things you need when applying to college in general. Number 1, you need a resume. Number 2, you need a personal statement. Number 3, you need standardized test scores, unfortunately, whichever test that you choose to take. And finally, you need your transcript with your grades on them. We're going to dive into detail with the first 2 materials you need, a resume and personal statement. Because the last 2, your transcript and your standardized test scores, don't really require creativity from scratch to make. Your resume and personal statement are extensions of you that you have to make and create with your own energy and time. So let's get started with number 1, your resume, the do's and don'ts when creating one. I'm going to use my current resume as an example since I'm a visual learner. We're going to start off with the don'ts of crafting your resume. First, you don't want to use fancy fonts and crazy colors when writing out your resume. You don't want a hot pink title here and a purple subheading here. Whenever writing out the information and crafting the resume, you always want to lean towards the more simple, the better. Because when you use bright colors and different fonts, you bring a lot of attention to yourself and you don't want to stick out. Second, don't make your resume any longer than 1 page unless the college explicitly asks for it. There is this one thing called a CV or a curriculum vitae that is essentially an extended version of your resume that is 3 to 4 pages maybe of everything you've ever accomplished starting way back in middle school. Most colleges only require a resume, and the rule of thumb is to stick to just 1 page. Finally, and I have seen this mistake time and time again, don't include pictures, unless if there's a rare exception where the college requests a headshot in it. Most of the time, let your resume speak for itself, your experiences and skills. There's no need to include that cute selfie in there. Now let's talk about all the do's when it comes to creating your resume. Generally, you want to sell yourself in this 1 page. Don't feel intimidated if you can't fill up the whole space and start using jargon and random words to make yourself sound smarter. You generally want to be honest when creating your resume, and you want to pay close attention to the language that you use, the words that you choose to describe the experiences that you write about in your resume. For example, let's zoom into my Microsoft experience and look at the specific verbs I chose to explain my role and the projects I worked on. I used the word developed and executed, but it didn't stop there. Remember, you want to show, not tell when creating your experiences. So after I described my project and role, I then backed it up with data and analytics that described the impact I had in that particular experience. Second, on your resume, you do want to list any organizations or leadership roles that you have through high school. Now, my rule of thumb for extracurricular activities is quality over quantity. Most of the time, I see students who are very successful stress about the fact that, they don't have 6 or 7 organizations or positions to list on their resume. That's okay. So long as you can show your investment and time in particular organizations, the colleges don't mind if you only have 1 or 2 organizations you have been with for a long time. Finally, you do want to review your resume. I know that sounds like common sense, but some students will just throw their resume together and then just submit it without reviewing it at the end. Have it peer reviewed, or you can even simply throw it into a third-party editing platform like Grammarly. Those are the do's and don'ts of creating your resume. Now let's talk about the second material you need when applying for college, and that is your personal statement. A personal statement is generally a one single-spaced essay, maybe 2 pages depending on the word count, that answers a specific question from the college that you're applying for. And the questions can be from what's your biggest challenge in your life to why did you choose a particular major. It depends on the college you are applying for. So it's important to have a personal statement generally in your back pocket that you can use to adapt or change depending on the question that's asked. Let's talk about the do's and don'ts of your personal statement. Again, let's use a personal statement I wrote recently for a fellowship application as an example. Obviously, your personal statement for college is going to look a little bit different because we were allowed to include, for example, a QR code at the end, and our word count was a little bit bigger. The first don't when creating your personal statement is that you don't want to regurgitate your exact resume into your statement. Instead, you want to have a narrative story, something that takes a little bit more critical thinking to write in your essay. And if you do decide to list exact bullet points from your resume experience, you at least want to find a common theme, a common story, a common experience that connects and ties them all together. Here for this personal statement, I talked about how I grew up on canned SpaghettiOs, my family's financial circumstances, and how that impacted my desire to help my community. Second, again, you don't want to use fancy colors or fonts when writing your personal statement similar to your resume. Finally, and this is really my personal opinion, you don't want to start off your personal statement with a quotation because it's normally a cliche and kind of cheesy. Whenever you start your personal statement, your first sentence needs to grab the attention of whoever is reading your essay, and normally you want that to be something that comes straight from your mind and your mouth because that's more powerful than reading a quote from someone else who's not applying for that particular college. So what can you do when writing a personal statement? Well, number one, you can sell yourself, sell your strengths, sell your experiences and skills and tools and stories that have touched you and other people's lives. Others people's lives? Wow, how did I get into college? Other people's lives. Second, you want to be concise with your language. There's no need to try and fit in fancy words to make yourself sound smarter. In fact, if you can write your story in less words and less sentences, the smarter you'll come off. For example, in the legal industry, we're told time and time again to write everything that we write as if an 8th grader was going to read it, so that it's easy to understand and it's to the point. Finally, again, this one is very much common sense, but some students just miss the target. You do want to answer the specific question that is asked for your personal statement. Sometimes students will forget to look at the question and submit the wrong essay, or they'll ask a question and they'll be very roundabout when it comes to the answer. They'll start at one point and then they'll end at B point. You want to answer the question immediately at the beginning of your essay, if you can, in a way that draws in your audience. So remember, you do want to double check the question that's asked and answer the question. Those are your do's and don'ts when it comes to your personal statement and resume. Your final 2 pieces of material when applying for college are your standardized test scores and your transcript. Neither of those require creativity, nor do they have to be made from scratch, so I'm not going to go into detail. Instead, I'm going to finish this video, the last few minutes, to walk you through important dates and deadlines and any resources you need when applying for Southern Methodist University specifically. Whenever I was applying as a first-generation college student, I was deeply intimidated by SMU's reputation, the price tag, all of it together really frightened me and stressed me out. I didn't think that I could make SMU my home. Instead, what I did was I didn't do my homework, I didn't do the research to find the information to make SMU more affordable for myself. So I am now going to share with you the tips and tricks you need to know when applying for SMU right here in Dallas. First things first, and I'm going to be honest, even though I am partnered with SMU for this video, their website is exponentially way better than it was when I applied as a transfer student. The information, everything, the portal is so clean and accessible now. They must have heard some students say something, but yes, this just looks so much better. And I hope that you take advantage of the ease of access to all of the deadlines and dates. So here you can see that under first year and undergraduate admission, they easily state all of the early action, early decision, and regular decision dates and deadlines. There are different application platforms you can use when applying to SMU. And then finally, they include a checklist that you can use throughout the SMU application process. Next, I'm sure you are most concerned about financial aid. So right here in the top right corner under undergraduate admission, you can click on that and it will take you to the front page of scholarships and financial aid. Yes, before you even ask, I will list the specific websites and resources I'm using in my caption below so that you can potentially follow along with me as I walk you through this information in real time. Here, I am on the scholarships and assistance page. If there's one thing that you leave this video with, it's the fact that SMU has so much money to give to you, to students like myself. All you have to do is to know that it's out there. And now, since the website and all of these resources are easy to access and are easily readable, you too can apply for them and potentially have all of your tuition paid for. If I had known there was a President Scholar program, if I had known there was a Hunt Leadership program, I would have applied for them. So please take advantage, keep track of the dates and deadlines, and be sure to take advantage of that money bag so that you can reach your greatest academic potential. That is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any more questions about the college application process, if you want me to do specific videos on certain topics, comment below because I will be partnering with SMU for another video sometime within the next month to help you get into college and be able to afford it.